Hey there guys, today we were talking about converting numbers greater than 1 into fractions, decimals, and percents. So hopefully you guys remember that fractions and decimals and percents are actually smaller than 1. They're actually parts of a number. They are not a whole number. So even though it seems weird, we can change numbers that are bigger than 1 into decimals, fractions, and percents. They're just going to give us, well, I don't want to spoil it for you. We already know how to change numbers greater than 1 into fractions. When we do this with fractions, we know it's going to give us a mixed number where we have a whole number and a fraction. So since we've just gotten done using mixed numbers and we're pretty familiar with them right this second, they're fresh in our brain, we're going to use mixed numbers to help us learn with decimals and percents how to change those numbers greater than 1 into a decimal and a percent. So first we're going to start with decimals because we actually are also familiar with this. It probably just doesn't seem like it. So there's a couple ways you can do this. From decimals to from mixed numbers, the whole number, man, I got to get better about proofreading because this should say is, not it, so please change that. The whole number is going to be the number you see before your decimal. So if I had 2 3/10, I actually should already know how to write that as a decimal because I say it the same way. 2 and 3 in the tenths place. That one's a pretty easy one to do. Whereas my whole number is just the number before the decimal, so it would be already a number greater than 1. Unfortunately, it's math in 6th grade, and the easy way doesn't always happen. So the other thing you might need to know is that you can convert the fraction to be improper. Then you would follow the conversion rules to get the decimal part. Man, what did I mean here? Hey, follow the conversion rules to get the decimal part using the fraction. Let me show you what I mean by that. Let's use 2 3/10 again. If I did not know that 3/10 looks like this as a fraction, I could have done this way. I had 2 3/10. Let's change that into a proper fraction. 10 times 2 is 20. 20 plus 3 is 23 over 10. When I divide, 23 divided by 10, 10 goes into 23 2 times. When I multiply, I get 20. Subtract and I get 3. I can't have a remainder, so I add a decimal and a 0, which was a decimal there. Bring my 3 down, or my 0 down. 10 goes into 30 3 times. 3 times 10 is 30. So now I have no remainder. So my answer would be 2.3. Yeah, sorry, I forgot what I was going to say there. This part should probably be pretty familiar to you, and it should not be too terribly difficult for you to do. If you're having a hard time with that, you can always go back and look at converting a fraction into a decimal video. Now, to get percents from mixed numbers isn't going to make any sense because we said by the very definition, percent meant per 100. And when you write the fractions, first you're going to write the mixed number as an improper fraction. It says fraction, but that's wrong. You have to do that when you're doing this as a percent. So if we had 2 3/10 again, I would write that as a mixed number, which is 23 over 10. Then I would just go ahead and follow the rules to turn this into a percentage, which means I want to end up with something over 100, but I have 23 over 10. I multiplied 10 times 10 to get there, so I'd multiply this times 10, so I'd end up with 230. And I already know that this division sign with the 100 means percent, so I'd end up with 230%. And I know what you're already thinking. Wait a minute, I thought 100 was the highest a percent goes. Technically kind of true, but since you're working with something greater than a whole, it's going to be greater than 100% of that item. So your percent will always be greater than 100% when you're working with numbers greater than 1. Okay, we're going to go ahead and write this rest of these. We're just doing 2. You're doing all of them. As a mixed number. I'm sorry, the mixed numbers as a decimal and a percent. And a percent. All right, so 2 3/4. That's an easy one for me. So I'm just going to write that 2 right there. And I'm going to do 3 divided by 4. 4 can't go into 3, so I'm going to add my decimal and my 0. 4 can go into 30 7 times, and I'm going to get 28. When I subtract, I'm going to get 2. I can't have a remainder, so I'm going to add another 0. 4 goes into 25 times. 5 times 4 is 20. When I subtract, I get 0, but I got to make sure I bump my decimal up. So I know the part after my decimal is going to be 7.5. To write it as and I'm going to box that up because that is an answer. I also have to write it as a percent. So I'm going to change it into an improper fraction. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11 over 4. I know I'm going to want something over 100. That is an easy one to do, so I don't have to do it the hard way. 4 times 25 gave me 100. Whatever I did to the bottom, I got to do to the top. Let's go over here. 25 times 11. I'm going to put 25. Add my placeholder. 25 again. So I should have 275 over 100. And I already know that the division sign in 100 makes percent, so it's just going to be my numerator, so it's 275 with that percentage sign. Those are my numbers. Notice they have the same digits in the same order, they just have them in different places, like the decimal point and the percentage point. All right, go ahead and pause the video and try 5 3/5 by yourself. Okay, so starting off, we're going to make it a decimal. Again, I already know my 5. It's going to be my whole number. So I just have to do 3 divided by 5. 5 can't go into 3. So I'm going to add my decimal and my 0. 5 goes into 30 6 times. 6 times 5 is 30. When I subtract, I get 0. So I actually don't have to keep going. But I do have to remember to pop that decimal right up. So my part after my decimal is going to be 5.6. Okay. Then I have to turn into a percentage. I'm going to make it an improper fraction. 5 times 5 is 25 plus 3, 28 over 5. I know that 5 can go into 100, so I can do it the easy way. To do that, I do 5 times 20, which means I have to do 28 times 20. I'm going to do 28 times 2 and add my 0. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 2 is 4. Plus 5 gives me 560. Again, I know that this fraction or division sign and the 100 means percent, so it's just going to be my numerator. So I'm going to put a comma here. Put 560%. Notice I put a comma to separate my two answers. Box them up. If you want to box them up separately, that's fine too. All right, go ahead and try those 6 on your own.